If you're a business person, researching the customs of that country before you go into their country. So oftentimes, we'll go into a country and start to put in our ideas of, I have my product, so now I'm going to sell it my way. But no, being a leader that is going to be culturally sensitive, and if you're stepping into the true form of being a citizen diplomat, you want to ensure that you are researching the customs. Maybe in this country, the product needs to be green. That's an informal way of you stepping to global leadership.
There's nothing too little for me to do. There's no small change. A change, something you can start something and it can start from you.
A good majority of our youth by the age of 14 actually start having poor mental health. A lot of our high school students report that they are feeling sad or hopeless for 2 weeks or more. And 19% of our high school students have seriously considered suicide in the last year. We know that poor mental health really is affected. We know that LGBT populations and also our communities of color experience poor mental health because they are experiencing more trauma based on generational trauma. They might not have as much access, and there's a lot of stigma in those communities to actually going and getting the support that they need. So we know we have a lot of work to do, and that is really why Active Minds exists and why we're excited to actually equip youth and young adults with the tools and resources to advocate for mental health in all that they do.
Actionable, but also rooted and centered in your community, and one that you think you will be able to achieve. And we love the Smarty framework for kind of achieving this. If not everyone has heard of it, I'll just go over the steps really quick. This is something that you are able to find online, and it's just in a lot of different spaces as well. But SMARTY stands for smart, measurable, achievable, realistic, time-bound, inclusive, and equitable. And we really want to hit on those last 2 points, inclusive and equitable, in this work, because again, especially in the United States, we see that there are a lot of disparities with mental health.
It hollow and meaningless. Its desecration did not just happen now because of Gaza, but Gaza could very well be its death knell. When we consider the many other genocides
are in service, the diplomatic corps were women, I walked out of that career discussion with my counselor saying, I'll never make it. I'll never be able to do it. And I think this gets to the point of this summit of inclusion and how much has been done, but how much work we still have to do.
But then we also want to think about what is an unsuccessful election, or rather what makes successful elections harder. And one thing I really want to emphasize is that, sometimes when we're talking about voting, I think that we have the false conception that when we don't see the results that we want, that it's voter apathy. I like to
is don't quit, never quit, go straight, keep going. So
to my nation and its citizens, as I worked my way up the ranks, I dealt with steadily increasing importance. And I learned about the world and how it really works.
So we thought, why not start big and host our own event? Over multiple weeks of brainstorming, discussing, and pulling in experts like our city's community engagement officer, the Youth Council agreed on an event. In April, we'll be hosting a fun run / 3K race, followed by sports activities and student performances.
What bills are going through the Maryland General Assembly? What bills affect youth? Why do they affect youth? Are they supporting youth? Are they kind of silencing youth? And how can you make change? How can you as a youth member make change? I remember there was
Go into someplace, even a restaurant, you just ask, can I help? And I guarantee you they'll allow you to volunteer. And that's a problem that, youth doesn't get more involved in our community. And that's something I see a lot. I don't feel the best about our generation right now because there's a lot of people that haven't been, doing as much as they would have been doing before. There's exceptional people like Shrader who are doing their best they can to help everybody. And then there's other people like in school that I've seen that just don't bother or attempt as much. And it concerns me sometimes because I wonder what's going to go on later on, 20 years, 30 years from now. What's going to happen when these guys are supposed to be our future doctors and lawyers and supposed to help us out when people are getting older. And we can't really have, adults carrying us for the rest of our life. We need this generation to become young and bright and create new ideas, make a strong new future for everybody.
Making sure what youth is actively defined and promote candidacy inclusion. So, to first create a robust youth policy, countries lack a strong youth policy. At least 60% of countries do not have a national youth policy. So they have nothing guiding on what they're doing to support youth, and that, according to Youth Leading Now, is unacceptable.